Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Capricorn August 2023 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lauren. This is a look at the kind of energetic read for the month of August for the sign of Capricorn. And you can watch for your sun, moon, or rising, or any other placement that is of importance to you at this time. So if that's Venus because you're looking at love and relationships in your life, or if that's your Mercury placement because you're really looking at your own communication style and how the life experience around you is communicating back to you, that can be something you can look at as well. But Capricorn, we're going to jump right in here. So first I'm going to start by taking a look at what you're bringing yourself to the month of August. Then we're going to be looking at what is going on external to you and a theme that Spirit would like you to focus on to really help you embrace that energy by the end of the month to allow a level of abundance or spiritual growth to come into your life. And I am a big believer that we always have an opportunity for abundance and spiritual growth to come in, but sometimes we are just not looking in the right place, or we're just not opening ourselves up to it. So you have Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Very interesting. It seems like this is going to be a busy month for you, Capricorn. There's a sense of juggling during a period where there's a lot of stuff going on. The Two of Pentacles can really speak to literally just that, juggling our day-to-day tasks. It's kind of taking a look as well at sometimes it can be prioritizing, where we are actually being asked to choose between one task over another. And with the Eight of Wands, this is fast-moving energy. This is a lot of stuff going on. This can even be a lot of communication coming in. But there's something here with having to juggle that, having to juggle what you're doing day to day, and having to juggle, again, this kind of fast-moving energy. A lot of things coming in that you're going to have to kind of deal with or take action steps towards. Now, in your external environment, you have a beautiful energy to really embrace by the end of this month. We have the Six of Cups, which I always love. It's a kind of a card of nostalgia. It's going back to the past. There's an innocence to this card that I always love. It's almost like reconnecting with the innocence of your youth, or even a person. This can also represent someone from your past coming back into your life. But with this card, so this is a card specific to this version of the Rider-Waite Tarot or the Rider-Waite deck that I use for my readings. And this is a card that really speaks to me. It's like a blend of the Ten of Cups, which you do have over here as your underlying energy, which is wonderful. It's like a Ten of Cups and Ten of Pentacles mixed together. This is really where we are focused on the legacy we leave for our family, or what we would like to experience in our old age as far as related to family, meaning that this is really taking a look at your home life versus, let's say, with Ten of Pentacles, that can sometimes be around your work or the physical assets that you have. There's a sense here of really looking at going back. There's with the Six of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, the Six of Cups with this energy, there's almost a sense of going back to maybe experience a version of your life that maybe when you were a child you had yearned for, you had hoped for. And there's a sense here that this month you might be able to re-experience that, or there's a sense of getting back in touch with what that is, that there might be a legacy that you would like to experience where it is maybe this is you in your older age with your child and your grandchildren, and you get to share something with them. And what is that? Is that the ability to share wisdom? Is that the ability to share something you would like to leave? When we're thinking of legacies, this can be the legacy of creativity, something that you're passing down to them. This can be the legacy of literally a home or monetary wealth in some way, an inheritance. But I do get the feeling that for many of you, you're getting a chance to really embrace a past ideal around home and family and legacy. And why do I say that? Because you do have the Ten of Cups as your underlying energy. The Ten of Cups is one of my favorite cards. It might actually be my favorite card in the tarot. It's one where we really get to touch what it would feel like to bring our vision of heaven down to earth. But we get to experience it through our emotional plane of existence, where we get to feel that joy that comes with the knowledge of, oh my gosh, my heart's desire has come true. And that's why it's really spoken of as the happy family card. It's where we have so much to be joyful about that we have more to share with others. Now, underlying that, we have the Five of Wands and we have the Page of Cups. So there's a sense here of, with the Page of Cups, this is our inner child. This is the innocent version of ourselves, where we simply offer up our emotions, what we love, and we offer up with an innocence of, well, this is me in a cup, so to speak. And what's beautiful about getting in touch with that part of ourself again is that it's truly that authentic part. It's a part where we're not, when you think of children and how they'll just run up to you and tell you, oh, but I love this mom, or I love this dad. There's a sense of, there's a lack of a filter, right? They haven't been taught yet that maybe this is inappropriate to share, or if you say it like that, people might laugh at you. There's a sense of just getting back to that unfiltered version of yourself, that authentic version, and really getting to where there's kind of nothing in between you and your feelings, you and what you love, you and your dreams. But with the Five of Wands on top of that, there seems to be a little bit of chaos. Now, for some of you, this could actually represent a child in your life. The Page of Cups can, sometimes the pages when they come out in readings can represent children. So for some of you, there could be a child that came into your life and it did kind of stir the pot. The Five of Wands can be a card of chaos. It can be a card of conflict. It can be a card, though, of also healthy competition. And one where we're kind of getting back on the horse, so to speak, bringing our wand or a passion or hobby out into where we get to kind of connect that with others. But I get the feeling more from many of you that either A child came into your life, maybe unexpectedly, maybe expectedly, but it stirred things up. It got things a little crazy. And yet somehow through, even with all of this going on, you're finding a connection to your Ten of Cups, which is beautiful. Now, if this is your inner child, truly, this is where maybe you finally reconnected on an emotional level to yourself. And there definitely is a push. This is what Spirit's asking you to embrace, is this past version of yourself, the gift from the past. Either, again, it's a kind of long forgotten ideal around the home and family or the legacy that you wanted to leave, or there's a sense here of just focusing on maybe even bringing someone back in from the past into your life and seeing how they can fit now into this happy family energy. But there also is this feeling for you that this month is going to feel busy. It is going to feel like you're juggling. It is going to feel like it goes by really fast. But in order for you to kind of get through that, it's saying keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on what you would like to connect to. Again, what is this ideal that maybe you long forgotten, or what is this ideal that maybe you've recently connected with, either through a child in your experience or through reconnecting with your own inner child and realizing, oh my gosh, there's a dream in my heart that I'd love to bring into experience, or there's a part of me that realizes there's something I really want to call in my family life. So this is really a focus on family versus, let's say, career for you this month, Capricorn, which is beautiful. I love it. We can't always be focused on, sometimes Capricorn, well, first of all, you're always focused on a goal. That's part of being a Capricorn or having Capricorn prominent in your chart. But there's a sense here of a lot of times that goal-orientedness or the focus can really be on your career, on work, and maybe that is what's going on right here with the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. But there's a sense of this month you get to really focus on the family, on the home life, on your personal side to your experience, on what this Ten of Cups really speaks to. Okay. So we're going to pull some additional cards now to take a look at the block, take a look at advice, and then we're going to look at the abundance or personal growth that wants to come in. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups as your main challenge. And I think that's because for many of you, there might be a need for self-care. The Queen of Cups is kind of the unconditional loving mother. She's the nurturing one. She's the one who protects her cup first and holds it sacred. And she would take the cup from the Page of Cups and say, I see you. I see what's in your cup. I see its value because I know my own value in what's in my cup. And she takes care of her cup. And what that means is that she takes care of her needs first. She makes sure that she's doing the things for herself that allow her to emotionally connect to her life experience in a healthy way. But for some of you, especially with the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands, this might be where a little bit of that self-care is going out the window because you're so focused on what you're doing, on the tasks, on the kind of check marking the boxes, so to speak. With the Queen of Cups and the Nine of Cups, this really speaks to, the Nine of Cups is the one card away from the Ten of Cups. The Nine of Cups is where we know we have a lot to be grateful for, but yet there's that one cup that we're wishing for, that our heart is dreaming for, and that if we had that one final cup, our Ten of Cups would be realized. And the Queen of Cups holds that 10th cup. That 10th cup is her. It's her. I almost get the feeling, and I don't always get that with this combination, but it's almost like it's time for you to join the family. It's time for you to step into the reality of what you want to bring into your experience. But it comes through first meeting your own needs. And that might actually call in the Ten of Cups, because you might, and I'm curious to see what's going to come in. You might be changing up something in your routine. You might be changing up again where you focus your energy. Ooh, Ace of Swords at the heart of your reading. Yeah, this is the energy that Spirit's asking you to embrace to really help you overcome this block here around the Queen of Cups. There's a sense with the Ace of Swords of clarity, of victory, of awareness of a personal truth. And I think for many of you, that truth might be that yearning for that final cup, whatever that is, that yearning for whatever this vision was for your family, for your legacy, what you want to experience in your personal life. And there's a sense here of, that's the dream. But I'm holding I'm the one that has to take responsibility for really pouring myself into that. Now, with the Four of Swords coming in after that, the Five of Swords coming in after that, the Five of Swords is the energy of where we kind of want to win at all costs, or where we are trying to uphold a perspective, and we're not in a place to listen. We're not in a place to take other people's advice. We're just simply trying to have a stance of defense. This is a defensive stance of, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. I don't want to listen. I'm just going to keep stating my point, my truth. I think for some of you, you might be seeing maybe where you've been in this place of defensiveness, and where it might actually show you where it's time to maybe bring those defenses down. And then we have the Ten of Cups again as your final incoming abundance. This is joy, this is happiness. I think for some of you, you've been fighting. You're going to see the truth around where you've been fighting, really leaning into understanding what this 10th cup is for yourself. What is that dream in your heart that you know if it was fulfilled, that it would bring the 10 of Cups? And it centers around the nurturing of yourself and the nurturing of your own cup. Understanding what needs of yours need to be met. Understanding what dreams, what hopes, what wishes are in your cup that emotionally connect you to your life experience. And yet, I think for many of you, you haven't really wanted to lean into this dream. This vision, I think, again, of what you really wanted to experience in your personal life, and this kind of revisiting the past, this nostalgia, this innocent version of yourself. And this innocent version of yourself that's kind of been hidden behind the chaos, behind all the stuff going on. And now I think you're realizing where maybe you've been fighting that wish, fighting the self-care, fighting knowing that there's something in your life that you need. And that will bring in the 10 of Cups, this joyful, I don't know how else to call it, just joyful experience. Bottom of your deck, you have the Princess of Swords, which is the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords asks us to get curious. it says we don't know everything. The Page of Swords is the perfect foil for the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords individual is saying, I'm right, you're wrong. I know the facts, and I'm just going to be deaf to anything else that anybody else wants to come and say to me. And the Princess of Swords, the Page of Swords, is the individual who says, you know what, I know I will never know everything. And I know that I'm only coming from my perspective. And so in understanding that, I need to kind of open myself up to be curious as to where I might be pushing something away, maybe where I'm not seeing something. And I'm going to start to, there's a sense here with the swords of I'm going to start to open my perspective up mentally to see maybe what I have been missing. There's also a sense of communication. This could be where you start to ask questions. You start to ask questions of yourself. You start to ask questions of other people. But there's a beautiful sense of allowing yourself to open to a dream or a potential that maybe at one point you had lost sight of, or the dream got sidetracked. And there's a chance now to, I think, really call it in, bring it in, and anchor it. But it's going to take clarity around where maybe you have held a long-held stance where you've been, again, defending a position, defending a point of view, and it's time now to let that go, or to soften that and to get more into the energy of curiosity. And where might you need to see something that's going to allow you to have this moment of clarity and truth around, again, maybe an element of self-care that you've been avoiding, or where you've just kind of been avoiding, I think, again, leaning into that wish, that heart's wish within. Okay, I'm going to pull some clarifiers now. So we're going to dive a little deeper into these cards to see what else wants to come out. For some of you, this could be with the Queen of Cups and the Nine of Cups. This could be a dream to become a parent. To be a dedicated parent, or in a position like the Queen of Cups, again, this unconditional loving person. And that might be something, or maybe you've been kind of pushing that away. You're like, no, I can't be a parent. No, I've got to just focus on my work. I got to focus on whatever it is saying. But remember that you held a dream, the past version of yourself wanted this for you. There's something around that, something around the aha moment of something I think in your youth you had or had wanted. And again, just in the day-to-day life, we just get sidetracked. Things get a little chaotic. We get a little busy. But now there's a call to say it's time, because it's waiting to come in for you. It's time to refocus your energy here. Okay, so let's see. Queen of Cups. What does Capricorn need to know about the Queen of Cups? Oh, I love it. Ace of Cups and the Page of Wands. This is funny. For some of you, you might have multiple children in your life. We have almost all the pages on the table here. But here you have the Page of Wands and the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, there's the 10th cup. It's the new opportunity of love and connection to yourself. There's like a self-realization here of rekindling your relationship to yourself, to the feeling of love, to who you love. But there's also this element with the Page of Wands of a child at play. This is saying for many of you, I think you haven't had that in your life. You haven't had that feeling of play, of freedom, of just following your passions. The Page of Wands is almost like the child at Christmas who gets the new toy and wants to run outside and play with it. And therein is your connection to life. I think for many of you, you might be overworked. I mean, you're Capricorn. You might be overworking yourself, but there's a sense here of really leaning into either becoming a parent or leaning into embodying the essence of a child, going back to a version of yourself where you were innocent, where you were allowed to dream, where you were allowed to express yourself as your unique, authentic, curious, optimistic self. And all the programming that happened in between, and maybe all the wounding that happened in between that version of yourself and where you find yourself now, it's almost like going back to that refreshed version of yourself. And with the Ace of Cups, it's almost like you're being like the new version of yourself, which is actually the old original version of yourself. It's almost being like baptized or born anew. It's very interesting. So for the Nine of Cups, we have Death and we have the Chariot. Very interesting here with these two cards. You can see these cards actually look very similar in this deck. There's a ghost horse here. And then in the Chariot, we have an individual who looks like he's also kind of reining in ghost horses. So Death. Death is a card that speaks to the release of something that can never be what it was again. And it transforming into something new. So when we think about how we can't, energy is only transferred and matter cannot be destroyed. But for something new to come into our life, that matter or energy has to take a new form. And with the chariot is all about forward momentum. It's getting in the driver's seat. It's getting our head and heart in alignment. And it's really getting ready to move. So there's a sense here of releasing something that needs to be released so that you can start to move forward. You can start to transmute that energy from what was into something that is going to be. Now that death could be that you realize, oh my gosh, I am no longer, I don't want to be the person that focuses only on my job. I don't want to be the person who's single forever. I don't want to be the person who, let's see, I'm trying to think, I don't want to be the person who is not going to be a parent, something along those lines where you realize you have to let that previous version of yourself go to really allow yourself to lean into the Nine of Cups, which is directly related to the Six of Cups, a dream from the past about what you wanted to experience in your home life. And then we get a chance to jump into the Chariot, which the Chariot is a card that is ruled by the sign of Cancer. And why is it ruled by the sign of Cancer? Because the Chariot represents us getting into the driver's seat of our own life and making movement towards what will ultimately feel like home for us. And Cancer rules the home. So there's a sense always of moving towards our final destination. And that final destination is the Ten of Cups. So let's see here for the Ace of Swords. What is this clarity that's coming in? The Six of Coins, balance in your life. What will bring something in your physical experience into a state of balance? Into a state of equilibrium where you're not feeling like you're the one juggling, but instead you have more than enough, but everything is at a level of balance. You're not overworking. You're not overgiving. Yeah, with the Ten of Wands, this speaks to a heavy burden you've carried for some time. I mean, you can see in this picture here, this individual looks like they've taken on all of these wands, and they're carrying it so precariously, and it's time to put that burden down. The Six of Pentacles can also speak to help around you. It can speak to maybe that's the imbalance, is the realization you don't have to do it all yourself. You might have others in your life who want to help you. It can also be where there is a change in where we are. So this would be, when we think of the Six of Pentacles, it can speak to giving and receiving as well. And the cycle that at any given point in our life, we may be on the receiving end of things, and then at another point in our life, we will be on the giving end of things. And this is stating that I think for many of you, there's a change in the cycle for yourself, that you might have always been the one to give. And now it's stating it's time for you to receive. Now it could be the other way around, that maybe you were always the one receiving and now it's time for you to give, or maybe even give to yourself. But there's something here around the truth and the clarity around where there needs to be equilibrium, where something needs to be brought into balance and alignment in your physical experience, where you can't be the one just juggling everything all the time with all of the wands flying at your face while you're trying to juggle, and keep the Ten of Wands precariously going. This is saying it's time. I think for many of you, you're going to see where you've long held a burden that it's time for you to put down, that you don't have to carry it anymore. Now, sometimes that burden can be, being the breadwinner for the family. Sometimes that burden can be, having to manage everything in the house yourself. This can also be where it's just a burden we carry with us that's emotional. And it sounds strange to say that because wands are all about passion and action, but this can be where we're actually holding the burden of the pain of maybe our parents, that maybe their relationship didn't work out. And so we are constantly kind of holding tentatively their burden on ourselves. Maybe we're trying to keep their peace, or we're trying to not rock the boat in a third party that we have some direct connection to. And this is saying, if that's the case, it's time to let that go as well. But this could speak specifically to maybe you doing everything in your home life, or you doing everything in your work life, or you doing everything for everybody else. And it's saying it's time to put that burden down to bring balance into your life. For the Five of Swords, we have the Eight of Coins, the Eight of Pentacles. Yes, there is a call to keep working. I know that's not what you want to hear, right? You're like, what? Keep working. The Eight of Coins is where we get to a level of mastery. It's where we go from the Seven of Coins, where we're questioning, is it worth my time, energy, and investment to continue to invest in this way? Or am I going to choose to invest in a new way? And when we get to the 8, we've made that choice and we've said, okay, this is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm going to start to put my time, energy, and resources. And you can see it's almost like the individual is starting to see the bigger picture come together. So there's a sense here of, instead of fighting maybe the move, that the choice you need to make, like there's a sense here with the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. There's a choice to prioritize one pentacle to be able to bring that into this Eight of Coins image. There needs to be a decision as to where your focus goes. Is it towards something new? Or is it to continue to grow something that you've started that maybe now it's really time with you realizing it has something to do with your home and family life, or the future of your home and family life? But with the Three of Cups as well, this is beautiful. This is celebration. This is incoming community. This is finding people who want to support you. And it's saying continue to, instead of fighting this and continuing to try to carry a burden that you no longer can carry, and that's creating an imbalance in your life, it's saying it's time to work on prioritizing social celebrations. It's time to focus on finding people that want to come with their cup and share the love that you have and that they have. And there's a sense of really being able to, whatever that needs to be, is probably in relationship to home and family, friends, anybody who's going to be directly connected to this feeling of joy and celebration, especially when we think of that being connected to the Ten of Cups, which is the happy family card. Now for the Ten of Cups, we have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, that's a card of avoidance. It's one where we're trying, it can be a card also of self-sabotage, where we're trying not to either A, see the incoming abundance, and we're pushing it away because we're holding, again, with the Five of Swords, this can be where we're holding the position that, no, I have to do it all myself. No, it has to be this way. No, I'm holding on to the pain of the past. And so I'm not going to allow the Ten of Cups to come in the way that it's trying to present itself now. I mean, the Ten of Cups is trying to come in for you. And that's a beautiful thing to have, trying to come in. But I think for many of you, you're trying to not see it because it does mean that there is going to be a shift in your current experience. It means that you're not going to be able to maybe do things the way that you've done them before, or it means you might have to let a past version of yourself fall away. So let's see here. Yep, and here we have the Lovers and the Fool. Oh my gosh, you can't have more beautiful energy. The Lovers and the Fool is taking a fresh leap into towards what you love. Whether this is towards, home and family, and this could be something, or maybe you've long not prioritized that, and suddenly you have the opportunity. Maybe there's a new person entering your life, and you have a chance now to really pursue that when you've maybe pushed it away for some time. There's a chance maybe to also follow what you love. Maybe you have not been able to do that, and that's part of your Ten of Cups, is to have something that you do be what you love. But for many of you, you've been avoiding this. So whether this is avoiding leaping into a new relationship, whether this is avoiding leaping into, again, changing something in your life so that you can pursue what you love, what you're passionate about, because the Lover speaks to making a choice in love, or making a choice towards what you love. And the Fool says a fresh start. It's time to take that leap of faith. And for many of you, I think you're afraid to take that leap of faith, but yet that leap of faith will bring in true abundance for yourself. an abundance that's in alignment with, again, a dream, a vision that you had for your future self from the past, from that innocent, childlike version of yourself. The Three of Coins. The Three of Coins is a card. Three of Pentacles is where we look to the future. We see what we want to build, but we understand that it's a card of collaboration, that we build it stronger together. So this is a card of really getting curious as to who wants to come in and build with you now. You have Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. This is beautiful building energy. This is the energy of those who want to come in and celebrate with you, those who want to come in and build with you. So there's a sense here of really opening yourself up to that, Capricorn, opening yourself up to community, opening yourself up to possibly sharing a burden. This would be saying, I'm not going to do it all myself this time. Now I'm going to find others who want to join me on this. As I pursue something that I love, as I pursue something that really speaks to the inner child within. And for some of you, this could be, if these are all children in your life, these 3 pages, this could be something where you're really realizing it's time for me to make a change, to really dedicate myself to those children. And that's what I love. And I'm going to take a fresh leap. And maybe this is where you say, you know what, I'm going to do something crazy and take a year off from work. I'm going to take a sabbatical and drive my family all over the country, because that's what I realize, that's where my focus needs to go. I want to build more community within my own family, something along those lines. Or you realize that there's a legacy for yourself that you do want to build now that you have these children in your life. There's a sense of, oh my gosh, I'm seeing a bigger picture. I'm seeing what I want to bring in further down the line. And I realize it's time for me to put down a burden that's hampering me from moving towards this new vision. And with Death in the Chariot, it does speak to a new vision, something old being replaced by something new. And possibly that something new is the old dream, the old vision from a past version of yourself that maybe had been overwritten because of pain and hardship and all the things you had to take on as we get older. All right, let's go ahead now. I'm going to pull a couple oracle cards before I pull your final card for the reading. So we're going to pull an energy oracle card here just to get a better sense of the energy for the month of August. So what does Capricorn need to know about the energy for the month? What does Capricorn need to know for the energy for the month? Okay. You have 3 cards. You have Door to Spirit with number 32. You have Victory with number 28. And then you have Indecision with 8. Very interesting. Yeah, you're at a crossroads here. And it's very interesting because we have Door to Spirit, which is very much like the the 10 of Cups. It's like the doorway that's opening up that says this is something that calls to your soul. And then we have Victory, and it says, when we get to the 10 of Cups, that is victory. That is attaining, again, something that we feel can only be attained almost outside of our life experiences, getting to touch that little piece of heaven. But with indecision, it's almost like, what is there to be indecisive about? You know, do we choose our dream? Do we choose what our soul is calling us to do? Do we choose to leap into love? Or do we hold ourselves back and not walk through that doorway? So this is that month where it all comes down to you, Capricorn. Are you going to be victorious and walk through that door that's waiting to open for you? Or are you going to stay in the 5 of Swords? And are you going to stay trying to defend the burden you've been long carrying? Or the belief that you have to carry that burden and that maybe you won't be loved otherwise? This is saying you're worthy, Capricorn. You don't have to carry the burden for everyone else, including yourself. It's time to get back to that child. When you think about children, too, at play, and you think about when you were younger, some people do have very difficult life experiences as children, so this doesn't hold true to everyone. But for most people, there's a point in our childhood where we are truly without responsibility, where we are truly just in a state of play and exploration. And there's a sense of being able to go back to that for yourself, where you are not burdened with the world's burdens, or you're not burdened with other people's burdens, and there's a sense of kind of going back to that for yourself. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull just a couple clarifiers for the indecision card. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any message that comes out as far as why you're stuck in this place of indecision. What does Capricorn need to know about indecision? So with Door to Spirit, number 32 breaks down to the number 5 in numerology, which speaks to change. And it speaks to freedom through change. So there's a sense here of, again, that change is the release of something. It's the release of the burden. So let's see here. Knight of Wands. I love that. Okay, so the Knight of Wands is the true freedom seeker. This is the individual who just wants to go out there and do what feels good, what's fun. They want to explore. They want to adventure. And I think for many of you, there's a sense here of your soul is calling for that. And with the Hanged Man, there's a change in perspective. I think for many of you, there may be this feeling within. So one of two things. This could be a change in here at the bottom of the deck, 3 of Swords. So there is that pain of the past that I've been kind of feeling has been creeping in here. The pain of the past is the 3 of Swords. It's those things that keep haunting us that we just can't get rid of. It's when that person broke up with us. It's when that person hurt us. It's when we got fired from our job. It's whatever it is, and it just keeps creeping in there, and it plants a seed of doubt that we could ever have that part of our heart healed. With the Knight of Wands and the Hanged Man, I think for many of you, you're seeing freedom in a new perspective. It's interesting because for some of you, you might be changing what you enjoy doing. And that's really what's kind of leading to this place of indecision is like, well, actually, it could even be where you're seeing freedom in a new way as well. That could be something too, where maybe at one point freedom was not having children and not being, let's say, burdened by a family. And yet now it's the opposite. You realize, I just want to be free to enjoy my family. I want to be free to be with my children. I want to be free to enjoy this experience over here. And you're realizing, oh my gosh, what maybe I thought at one point was kind of hindering me, I realize this is my ticket to true freedom. It could also be that for some of you, you might have a Sagittarius in your life with the Knight of Wands. That is a card of Sagittarius. And you might be seeing them in a new light. You might be seeing a relationship with them from a new perspective. But there could also just be this point of indecision of almost like a momentary hesitation this month of like, you see the 10 of Cups, you want to leap towards what you love, you want to usher in the new, you want to usher in this vision of home and family or personal life that you've yearned for since you were a child. And you have this momentary just pause of, do I keep going in the same way I have that feels heavy and burdensome? Or do I release it, lean into the energy of love, and really honor right now what's in my cup? This reconnection to the self, this reconnection to just love in general. And do I realize that that's freedom? That freedom looks like a new path. Okay, I'm going to pull this could also be too for some of you with a change in perspective. But maybe at one point in your life you felt that freedom was having a ton of money in the bank, and you just didn't want to be burdened by, financial, frustrations. And now you're realizing, you know what? I would give every cent away if I just could be at home with my kids. It could be something like that. Or, you know what? I used to want to be free and easy. This can be another way too, where you're like, freedom used to mean I wanted to have, money, or I wanted the freedom to go on those adventures. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to pick up and leave at a moment's notice, because that can be the Knight of Wands. It can be a little flaky. And now you're realizing what feels like freedom to me is having that big house that my whole family can enjoy, that might be passed down for generations. And there's a sense here of suddenly realizing that's what I want to build. That's what I want to focus on. I want to build a home that not only do my children grow up in, but their grandchildren come to visit. And there's like this shift of realizing I don't want to be the person that just goes out and blows money on vacations. I want to be the person that has the legacy, the home, maybe you want to buy a vacation home, something like that. But there's a change in perspective around freedom, or around what makes you feel free. Let's see, what does Capricorn need to know about where they need to surrender this month? So we have surrender to the idea you can fix someone. It says it's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. I love this because I do get the feeling that for some of you Capricorn, there's a sense of like maybe waiting for someone to change. That there's maybe this is part of the indecision of, maybe this person will get better. Maybe this person will be more supportive and finally pick up the other half of my burdens. Maybe this person will finally love and support the inner child. And it's saying, that's not on you to change someone. This would be like saying, like, you realize it's time for you to focus on your home life, but yet you have a partner who doesn't want to help support that. This would be like saying, that decision doesn't need to be made by that other person. This clarity is around you and around what you need to do to bring in the Ten of Cups for yourself. Keep in mind, the Ten of Cups is unique to each one of us. We each have our own unique idea of what heaven on earth would be. No two people have the exact same vision as to what that would be. So when we're looking at calling in the Ten of Cups for ourselves, this is coming from your own vision, your own cup. And there's a sense now of maybe for some time you've been waiting for something. This is like saying like, yeah, I'll stay at home with the kids when my partner decides to get on board and start making more money or working more hours. And yet that person is never going to do that. And you're like, well, shoot, I need to call in my Ten of Cups. So I need to take responsibility through walking through a doorway that's going to lead me to that place. This could be like, maybe you've been carrying a burden around for your parents, like I was saying earlier, and maybe my parents will change in love. And maybe if I just keep kind of holding that emotional burden that they had from, something that happened in the past, that maybe if I can just get them to a happy place, then I'll be in a position to be able to focus on my own life. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. Everybody, like it says here, each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. It's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. So keep that in mind if your focus is going too much to someone else. The focus needs to be on you and your dream, your Ten of Cups. Okay, let's go ahead here and pull a final card, Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know as a final message? Okay, so you have two. We have an invitation to connect, number 19, and we have trust in the plan, number 13. I love that, trust in the plan. Number 13 is the number, it breaks down to the number 4. It's building firm foundations, but it's also building firm foundations after the number 13 speaks to death and transformation. The number 19 speaks to endings and beginnings. It breaks down to the number 10, further breaks down to the number 1 in numerology. So it's kind of like all encompassing there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to read just a little excerpt from each of these that comes with the book here. So let's see about the invitation to connect. It says, love exists throughout our universe. Many loving beings that do not belong to the human race exist in worlds beyond the earthly realm. Among these are those who are aware of the spiritual plight of humanity and are willing and able to help us move forward. Unlike those who close their minds because they fear the unknown, you have an open mind and an open, receptive heart. Beings from other worlds recognize you as a receptive channel for their unconditionally loving assistance in this world. You will both benefit from this individually and help the planet. So you are being offered an invitation to connect. It says, there are many dimensions to existence. For those who are developing evolved sensory perception, the senses will not be restricted to being impressed upon by the physical dimension. There are higher dimensions that the psychic or emotional nature can recognize, and even more refined dimensions that the higher mind can recognize. Beyond that, there are dimensions that the mind, even in its most expansive state, cannot grasp, but the spirit knows to be real. The more your sensitivity to subtle energy evolves, the more aware you become of these worlds beyond this world. For some, this will be easy to accept and will inspire interest in learning more. Others may be tentative about exploring connections with non-earthly beings. Now, I'm going to stop here because not everyone is going to believe, obviously, that there is other life out there. I find it hard not to believe that, but I mean, everybody has their own perspective as to what lies beyond our earthly plane of existence. But I can say what this really speaks to for me more than anything when it comes up in a reading like this is that it's more about trusting how spirit speaks through you. And understanding that spirit right now is opening that door, right? Opening the door to victory in your life. And it's about getting to that place where you understand wherever that intuition is calling through your heart space, that's spirit trying to say it's time. It's time to put down the burden of the pain of the past, and it's time to open your heart to joy and love and abundance. Now we have trust in the plan. I love this one. Let's see here. It says, in preparation for radical growth, there can be temporary disorder and chaos. And I feel like that's what the Five of Wands was really speaking to right there. It says, while the mind may worry that something is going wrong, the spirit knows that this is a way for the old to disassemble so the new can be formed. There's the death and transformation. It says, although you may feel out of control during such times, you do not need to resist the process. There is no need to attempt to impose your own sense of order upon the greater plan. You do not need to seek solutions, for there is no problem here in need of solving. What has been is being cleared away in preparation for the next chapter in your life. Have faith. All is well. Do not fear. You may see the life you have known appears to be ending. You may find that the things you used to do or the way you used to think no longer seem as relevant as they once were. You may feel your relationships and friendships are changing. Some may even be ending. Perhaps you find you no longer have the energy or motivation to keep certain relationships going in your life. However, your energy is meant to be withdrawing from what it once supported. This is not an abandonment or betrayal. It is not selfish. It is honest. When you trust in your spiritual growth, all that happens is love. That means that even an apparent loss always serves love, whether that is immediately obvious or not. It is sometimes necessary for both parties to become free to live their true destiny. So think about it in that way. When we, especially with the surrender your idea to fix someone, sometimes we just have to let another person be who they are, just like we get the chance here to go back to being who we are. So it says, life is a loving, creative journey for your soul. That means there will be times when the very thing you have worked towards needs to crumble, so that the next evolution of your soul manifestation upon the earth can take place. It is natural, and although it can be challenging to trust in a greater creative process during times when it seems as though there is only chaos and confusion, you are strong enough spiritually to do so. To feel peace during such times, you must trust in your own inner knowing over what appears to be. You are divinely scheduled to evolve at this point in your life. Can you sense an exciting growth phase happening for you? There's another way for you to live, to be, to thrive and love in the world, and you are rapidly heading towards it. This is a time to surrender control and allow a higher power to direct your course. Many exciting new opportunities, situations, and connections will come into your life as a result of what you are experiencing now. It is all part of a greater divine intelligence unfolding in loving service to your own sacred life path. Have faith and stay true to your spiritual principles. Trust in an unfolding higher plan. Know that all changes in your life serve your higher good. The universe knows what you need and is in the process of delivering it to you now. All is happening for a greater purpose. You can flow with the changes in loving trust. Your perfect time for resurrection will follow this deconstruction, and it will occur in the perfect way. And I feel like it's already happening for many of you. The door is opening. All you have to do is put down the burden that's preventing you from fitting through that doorway. And it's time to open your heart to the joy that wants to come in. It's time to take that leap into love and towards what you love. All right, I'll leave it there, Capricorn. I hope you have a wonderful month of leaping into what you love. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I do release weekly readings throughout the month that are short, about 10 minutes in nature for each sign each week. So if you'd like to get a little additional messages each week, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified when those are posted. Otherwise, I will see you all next month, Capricorn, for your next illumination reading. Bye.